The glittering world of global entertainment has always been driven by stories that captivate millions. Yet few narratives have seized the collective imagination, quite like the unfolding chapters of high-profile romance played out in the glaring light of international celebrity. For generations, the public has been fascinated by the intersection of disparate worlds, particularly when the pinnacle of the music industry aligns with the highest echelons of professional sports. This cross-pollination of cultural spheres creates a unique kind of gravity, pulling in fans, media commentators, and casual observers alike, all eager to catch a fleeting glimpse behind the carefully curated curtain of fame. The phenomenon is not merely about the individuals themselves, but about the shared cultural moments they create, transforming private milestones into grand public spectacles that define an era. In this landscape of relentless scrutiny, maintaining even a shred of privacy becomes an art form, a tactical game of misdirection played against an army of lenses and investigative enthusiasts. As we begin to explore this grand narrative, we invite you to become a permanent part of our community by subscribing to the channel, ensuring you never miss the deep dives and comprehensive breakdowns of the defining cultural events of our time. The build-up to a moment of this magnitude requires months, sometimes even years, of meticulous planning, hidden signals, and strategic silence, leaving a trail of breadcrumbs that only the most dedicated observers can successfully piece together. Every major event that shifts the cultural landscape begins with a quiet shift in the atmosphere, a series of whisperings and unconfirmed reports that gradually build into an undeniable roar of anticipation. In the modern age, where information moves at the speed of light and public figures are monitored around the clock, the ability to execute a monumental plan completely away from the public eye is nothing short of miraculous. It requires an extraordinary level of loyalty from an inner circle, a network of individuals bound not just by legal agreements, but by a deep and genuine respect for the sanctity of a shared secret. When two of the most recognizable figures on the planet decide to intertwine their lives, the stakes are raised exponentially, transforming a traditional celebration into an operation of global significance. The world watches every movement, analyzes every social media update, and dissects every public appearance, looking for the subtle tells that betray a grand design. For months, the rumors swirled, filling the pages of entertainment chronicles and dominating online discussions. Yet, nothing definitive emerged to satisfy the mounting curiosity of a global audience hungry for validation. The architectural foundations of such a massive secret are built upon discretion, a commodity that is increasingly rare in a society driven by instant gratification and constant connectivity. To understand the true scale of what was being prepared, one must look at the sheer logistical complexity involved in organizing a gathering of immense proportions in the heart of one of the world's busiest metropolises. It is an undertaking that involves hundreds of coordinators, designers, security personnel, and artisans, each holding only a tiny fragment of the larger puzzle, completely unaware of the full picture until the final moments. This deliberate fragmentation of information ensures that the grand design remains protected from premature exposure, allowing the central figures to control their own narrative in a world that constantly tries to steal it from them. The anticipation becomes a palpable force, an electric tension that vibrates through the fan communities and media outlets alike, as everyone senses that something historic is on the horizon. Yet no one can pinpoint exactly when or where the lightning will strike. As the days blended into weeks, the subtle clues began to manifest in the most unexpected ways, dropped like whispers in the wind by those who moved in the outermost orbits of this elite universe. A sudden reservation here, an unusual logistical pattern there, a brief and cryptic comment during a routine interview. All of these minor anomalies served as fuel for a fire that was already burning brightly in the hearts of millions. The artistry of the modern mega-celebrity lies in this exact balance between total exposure and absolute mystery, the ability to remain omnipresent while keeping the most precious aspects of existence entirely shielded from view. This delicate dance creates a powerful mystique, elevating a personal milestone into a legendary event that transcends the boundaries of traditional news and becomes a permanent fixture of popular culture. The world was unwittingly being prepared for a revelation that would dominate headlines and set a new standard for how the biggest stories of the century are told, demonstrating that even in an era of total transparency, true magic can still be engineered in the shadows. What makes this evolving story so profoundly compelling is the sheer contrast between the public personas of the individuals involved and the quiet, deeply personal nature of the universe they have built together behind closed doors. One is a master of lyrical storytelling, a voice that has soundtracked the heartbreaks and triumphs of a generation, while the other is a titan of physical prowess, a fierce competitor whose every move on the field is dissected by millions of sports enthusiasts. Together, they represent a convergence of art and athletics, a modern mythos that feels both larger than life and intensely relatable to those who have followed their respective journeys from the very beginning. The collision of these two massive fan bases has created an unprecedented cultural synergy, where football stadiums echo with pop anthems and concert arenas become filled with sports jerseys, blurring the lines between traditionally separate worlds. As the countdown to the hidden date advanced, the invisible architecture of their grand plan was reaching its completion, poised to deliver a shockwave through the entertainment industry that would be felt across the globe, starting with a single, unauthorized glimpse into a world of pure elegance. The invisible wall of absolute secrecy that had meticulously shielded this monumental occasion finally suffered its first major breach, sending an instantaneous shockwave through the global media landscape. The world learned of the highly confidential details not through an official press release or a high-priced exclusive magazine spread, but through a fleeting, unauthorized digital footprint left by someone deep within the inner circle of trust. Ashish Ferguson, the brother of Kumar Ferguson, who serves as the personal chef and longtime childhood companion to the famous athlete, unexpectedly pulled back the curtain by publishing an image of the ultra-exclusive wedding invitation on his personal Instagram account. Although the post was rapidly deleted in a frantic effort to contain the leak, the digital world had already captured the evidence, setting off an irreversible chain reaction of global fascination and intense analysis. The artifact in question was not merely a piece of paper, but a masterfully crafted work of art that offered the very first tangible confirmation of the couple's highly anticipated union. The text emblazoned upon the invitation was deceptively simple, yet profoundly striking, stating that the recipient was cordially invited to celebrate on the historic date of July 3, 2026, in the iconic metropolis of Manhattan, signed simply with the words, "Love, Taylor and Travis." At the very bottom of this exquisite card, the couple had added the concise, sophisticated parameters for the evening, specifying that it would be a one-night-only event, taking place in the early evening under a strict black tie dress code. The visual design of the invitation itself spoke volumes about the overarching aesthetic and deeply personal narrative that the couple sought to weave throughout their historic celebration. The elegant typography was layered over a stunning custom painting depicting a dense, serene forest bisected by a winding stream, all set beneath a rich, dramatic orange sky that beautifully reflected their chosen wedding colors. In a brilliant move to ensure maximum security and prevent counterfeiting, each individual invitation was subtly watermarked with the specific guest's name and featured a beautifully designed, custom monogram insignia consisting of a stylized double-letter T. This sophisticated emblem served as a permanent symbol of their intertwined lives and initials, establishing a visual identity for an event that was rapidly becoming the most sought-after ticket in modern entertainment history. Almost simultaneously, further validation of this grand aesthetic scheme emerged from other high-profile attendees who found themselves swept up in the magic of the evening. Acclaimed singer Maren Morris took to her own social media late on Saturday night to share a glimpse of the incredibly thoughtful keepsakes provided to those who attended the ceremony. She showcased an elegant, pure white handkerchief gifted to the exclusive guest list, which was meticulously decorated with the exact same custom monogram insignia, the wedding date, and the Manhattan location. Mirroring the artistic design of the original invitation, as the media began to piece together these scattered fragments of information, the true, breathtaking scale of the logistical operation began to materialize, revealing how the couple had quietly transformed one of the world's most famous arenas into a private sanctuary. Industry insiders discovered that the creative pair had personally collaborated to entirely redesign the interior of Madison Square Garden, conceptualizing a radical artistic vision described simply as a lush garden hidden deep inside the concrete garden. This massive undertaking involved transforming the legendary sports and music arena into an ethereal woodland paradise, completely obscuring its traditional architecture with hundreds of living trees and expansive, deep green furnishings that anchored a monumental, custom-built gazebo. Eagle-eyed photographers and local residents had actually witnessed the early stages of this transformation without fully realizing its significance, capturing images of massive flatbed trucks loading an endless array of orange armchairs, elegant cocktail tables, and plush green chairs into the venue. This incredible attention to detail created a stunning juxtaposition, turning a massive structure typically known for roaring sports crowds and booming concerts into an intimate, romantic oasis of unparalleled luxury. The deliberate choice of an organic, forest-esque aesthetic was far from accidental. It was a deeply sentimental nod to the very beginning of their journey toward the altar, the elaborate, nature-inspired theme of the Manhattan wedding served as a direct and beautiful continuation of the athlete's stunning, garden-style marriage proposal that had taken place during the previous summer. In August of 2025, the professional football star had carefully orchestrated a breathtaking moment at his expansive estate located in the quiet community of Leawood, Kansas. He had popped the question in a magnificent, secluded garden on his property that was completely filled to the brim with vibrant, expertly cultivated flowers. Weeks after that life-changing moment, when the couple finally decided to share a selection of private photographs with their devoted fans, the imagery showcased them enveloped by an abundance of lush greenery and an ocean of delicate pink and white florals. Less than a full year after that romantic milestone in Kansas, the pair successfully executed a flawless transition from that intimate, quiet garden proposal to a massive, lavish soiree in New York City, executed in front of a select crowd of over 1,000 distinguished guests. The sheer contrast between the quiet privacy of their early romance and the overwhelming grandeur of their wedding day created an unforgettable narrative, raising the emotional tension to an absolute fever pitch as the world eagerly waited to discover how the rest of this modern fairy tale would unfold. The culmination of this extraordinary journey did not merely mark the union of two global icons, but it established a monumental new benchmark for the intersection of celebrity, artistry, and flawless logistical execution in the modern era. To gather over 1,000 of the world's most recognizable faces into a single, heavily fortified space required an unprecedented security apparatus, driven by an ironclad framework of legal non-disclosure agreements. Every single individual who crossed the threshold of Madison Square Garden, from high-profile Hollywood actors and legendary athletes to the technical crew operating the complex lighting rigs, was bound by strict confidentiality clauses designed to protect the sanctity of the experience. Yet, despite the immense legal weight and the threat of severe repercussions, the overwhelming emotional gravity of the evening proved too powerful to be entirely contained behind closed doors. In the days following the historic celebration, a select few celebrity attendees found themselves so deeply moved by what they had witnessed that they began to speak out, sharing carefully measured yet profoundly emotional testimonies regarding the couple's handwritten vows. Those present described an atmosphere charged with an undeniable, raw sincerity, where the global personas of the pop titan and the football champion completely melted away, leaving only two deeply devoted individuals expressing their profound love and commitment to one another in front of their closest peers. The pure, unadulterated luxury of the evening was further elevated by a series of live musical performances that transformed the wedding reception into a once-in-a-lifetime concert experience, featuring icons who have shaped the history of modern music. The legendary Stevie Nicks took to the custom-built Forest stage, her ethereal voice echoing through the transformed arena and casting a magical spell over the audience, while rock royalty Paul McCartney delivered a spectacular, energetic performance that had the star-studded crowd dancing long into the night. These legendary figures did not merely perform their classic hits. They served as a living bridge between generations of musical excellence, honoring a bride who has cemented her own permanent place in that very same artistic pantheon. As the night progressed, the unparalleled generosity of the newlyweds manifested in the form of a truly lavish raffle, an extraordinary gesture that left the distinguished guests in complete awe. Instead of traditional wedding favors, attendees had the opportunity to win an array of ultra-luxury items, including iconic Chanel and Dior saddlebags, masterfully crafted Cartier timepieces, and a collection of other highly coveted designer prizes, ensuring that the evening would remain permanently etched in the memories of everyone fortunate enough to hold a ticket. To fully appreciate the true significance of this historic night, one must look back at the incredible, intertwining paths of the two individuals at the heart of the story, both reaching the mature age of 36 at the very absolute peak of their respective global powers. The bride's journey from a young, determined country singer writing heartfelt lyrics in Pennsylvania to an unstoppable cultural and economic powerhouse has been nothing short of legendary. Characterized by an unmatched ability to reinvent herself and connect with the human experience on a global scale, Similarly, the groom's trajectory from a passionate, energetic kid playing sports on the fields of Cleveland Heights to a multi-time championship winner and future Football Hall of Famer represents the ultimate realization of athletic excellence and charismatic leadership. When their worlds unexpectedly collided, it created a perfect cultural storm, uniting a fiercely loyal global music community with a massive, deeply passionate sports fandom, forever altering how modern celebrity relationships are viewed by the public. Their romance became a symbol of mutual respect, a shared understanding of what it means to operate under the absolute highest level of public scrutiny while maintaining an unshakable sense of personal identity and joy. As the final echoes of the celebration faded and the elaborate forest inside Madison Square Garden was carefully dismantled, the true legacy of the historic July 3rd event began to take shape in the broader cultural consciousness. It proved that even in an age dominated by instant digital exposure and invasive media coverage, it is still entirely possible to protect the most sacred moments of human life through a combination of fierce loyalty, meticulous planning, and genuine love. The journey that had begun with a quiet, beautifully arranged proposal in a lush flower garden in Leawood, Kansas, had found its grand, magnificent fulfillment in the beating heart of Manhattan, surrounded by 1,000 of their closest friends and family members. This spectacular celebration was never merely about the dazzling luxury, the legendary performers, or the priceless designer gifts, but about the triumphant union of two extraordinary individuals who found a rare, perfect harmony amidst the chaotic noise of global